let's stick with that thing that they call a gift, which is our present. I've been told by a mentor of mine that the difference, or the separation between cause and effect is separated only by one thing, which is time. Time separates cause from effect. If there wasn't such a thing as time, then you'd have a cause, and you'd have an instant effect. And in some cases, that might be kind of cool, because if the effect is good and it's something that makes us happy, we'd love that. If the effect, however, is something bad, well, dang it, we'd love to have a little more time to try to cure some things before that effect hits us. And that's what time is. And that's how it affects the life that we live and how we view our past, our present, and our future. It's January 2001, and I got a lease about 82 pages thick right in my hands. And that lease has 2 boxes on it. One box says, check right here. And if you do, your future will be very bright. We, the mall, will give you another 8 years in that shop. You'll make a lot of money. You'll pay 1.5 times the rent that you did your first 10 years. But you'll be able to do what you state you want to do. But one little trick is we're going to make you pay an extra $50,000 that we didn't negotiate in the previous 6 months leading up to this moment. Or, Jeffrey, you can check the other box, which says, negotiate with me a little bit, and we'd be happy to introduce that space to about 12 other brands that are just desiring to go right where you are. Now, I checked the box, and the result of that check led to a brick, a metaphorical brick, hitting me in the back of the head right here. And it's a decision I've had to live with for the last couple of years. But let's rewind the tape just a little bit to this era when I was a lemon squeezer. Every lemon, I suppose, has a seed, and so does my story. I started my passion for wanting to do something special in life by setting up a little lemonade stand. I was 17 years young, was on the streets of Baltimore, Redwood and Light Street. I had a partner by the name of Brian, and he and I were jamming. We were squeezing. It was great. It was loop, it was lemons, and it was some ladies, and it was a lot of fun. And that summer, out of high school, moving into college, I learned a lot of good stuff. I learned what it took to kind of make a buck, a hard-earned buck. I learned about a quality product and what it takes to build a quality product. I learned about service, throwing your heart into everything you do, every cup of lemon. 3 elements, really. Lemon, sugar, and water. One would think, how could you get that wrong? Well, those were great summer days. I used to come home, and at the time, a gentleman by the name of Bobby lived with us, 67-year-old man, one tooth, Vietnam War vet, black guy, stayed in our home. He helped us, we helped him. And I remember, Bobby would say to me, he would say, Jeffrey, how'd you do today? And I said, Bobby, it was a pretty good day. We made $182. We were out there 4 hours. It was awesome. And you know what Bobby would do? He would whistle. And every day when I come home, he'd whistle. The 67-year-old Vietnam vet with one tooth would whistle as if he was taking my joy and my success and enjoying it as if it was his own. It's a very powerful thing. That stuck with me. Now fast forward, that's when I was 17, 18, 19. Fast forward, post-law school, I finished up at Georgetown Law. I did not want to practice law. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I did not want to work for anybody else. I wanted to set up my own shop. And I got inspired by this thing right here. And I said to myself, I said, self, what happens if I set up a shop? We'll find a name for it. We'll mix master all sorts of great tricks. And we'll do better than Starbucks is doing. Now this is late 90s. And I was just absolutely enamored with the wisdom and the success of Starbucks and other chains out there. And I thought that Dlush could, will, and shall be the next great beverage chain in America. So, I took Toto. I took $14,000, which is all I had, and I went from the D.C. area, and I went west, and I landed here in Diego. I knew two people. My parents, well, we'll treat them as one. My parents. And I knew another gentleman by the name of John Roberts who introduced me to a man by the name of Graham Downs. And Graham is an architect here in town, great guy. And he took me under his wing and designed the Dlush concept as we know it. Graham's not here today because he's down the street a few miles at Scripps Mercy, because about 36 hours ago at a party celebrating some success, he's an iconic designer, somebody took the equivalent of a brick and hit him up against the back of the head. Now, if Graham were in this room right now, if he were to walk through that set of doors right over there, I assure you, he would applaud one thing, which is no matter what happens to us, we are the creator of our own movies in life. It's our movie. The choices belong to no one but us. Now, that was 2000 when I first met Graham. Fast forward a little bit. I get a shop open in Fashion Valley Mall. I had to beg, borrow, and steal to get that landlord to pay attention. And I tried. I said, look, there's a space available. Let me have that space in center court. No one's in there. And they said, what's your name? And I said, Dlush. They said, who? I said, Dlush. They said, who? How much money do you have? Well, I had $14,000 a couple months ago, but no. They said no multiple times. Straight up, I was like Jim Carrey in that movie, Dumb and Dumber. Do I have a 1 in 100 chance? More like 1 in a million, Jeffrey. So you're saying I got a chance? That's the kind of optimism, unbridled, naive, restless, ambitious optimism I brought to the business. And over its 6 years, we turned water into wine in that space. As some of you may know, can testify in this room. We did magnificent things. And I got to tell you, honestly, between you, y'all, and me, I thought I was a rock star. And that stuff can get to your head fast. We were selling lots of drink, making lots of money. We were in Weeds, TV show, MTV, blah, 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 blah. Bottom line, 06, 07, had a few stores open in the marketplace, one in Hollywood, we had one South Bay, we had 6 overseas in UAE, in Qatar, in Kuwait. But the bottom line is, more money was going out than was coming in. And the bottom line is, I was a stubborn little entrepreneur. I mean, I had my ways. You know, I knew how to run a shop. Oh yeah. You know, it's kind of like Phil Jackson. Average NBA player, extraordinary coach. Michael Jordan, absolutely, of all time, the best basketball, sorry Kobe, sorry LeBron, ain't happening. Michael Jordan, the most extraordinary basketball player of all time. I wouldn't necessarily call him a head coach, and certainly not a GM to a team. So I had a lot I had to learn. And I was stubborn. And people like Graham said, yo Jeff, check it out. Great guy, big heart, but brother from another mother. You got to focus on development. You got to focus on infrastructure. You got to focus on other things. And I was all about like that perfect 20-ounce drink. The recession came, and we did what anyone would do. You recoil, because here comes an economic tsunami. So we had a few stores in the market. We were bleeding a little bit, but the potentiality was huge. So I was told, and I did, recoil and get to the other side. And if you do, then when you come out on the other side, let's see how life plays out, and maybe, said some of the investors, we'll put some do-re-mi behind you. So for another 2.5 years, man, we just leaned into it. And we worked hard, our team. And I got to tell you, I'm very proud to state in 2010, Dlush was its had the highest revenues in its history, which would lead one to believe that the lease renewal would be pretty friendly. But fast forward to January 2011, and the lease came to me. As I recall, 11 minutes ago, I checked a box and made a choice. And the box I checked was, yo, landlord, man, this isn't fair, this extra $50K you threw on the table. We didn't negotiate that. That's like my putting my head into a hornet's nest and not expect to be stung. 30 days later, I got an email. Didn't have even the decency to be a subject, verb, adverb. It said simply, change mind, new direction, good luck. And in a nanosecond, my world came crumbling down. Because my flagship, that generated $250,000 a year in cash, which was my engine to get this whole thing to scale, it's somebody else's. And let me tell you, when those boys come in to take your space, they come in. I saw that Pinkberry team coming in a couple of weeks before we were out and they were in, and it was like The Sopranos. Okay? And in fact, actually, it wasn't like The Sopranos. I'll tell you who it was. I looked at them, they looked at me, and they knew what I was thinking, and I knew what they were thinking. They were like Jack Nicholson. Okay? They were like, I'm going to huff, and I'm going to puff, and I'm going to blow your house down. Honey, I'm home. That's what it felt like. And there's only one other person I could be to obviously combat that. I'm proud to say I did well in the movie in my mind, which is I was Al Pacino on a Scarface. Say hello to my little friend! That's what I felt. I was just a freaking pocket of anger. I couldn't be dealing with it. And then, we're in the milkshake business, so I'm walking around. After the anger comes, like disappointment and then like disbelief. And, I'm walking around like drinking an crushed up Ambien milkshake. But then things started to turn. And a turning point, very simply. I went to tuck my son Eric in one night, I'll never forget. And he said to me, he popped his head out of the bed. He said, Daddy, with Fashion Valley, did we lose a store, or did we lose our entire company? And I knew right then, I was broke, but I was not broken, and I'll die when I'm ready. It made me think about the three elements that make up my product at its roots: water, and lemon, and sugar. I said, I want to be like water. I want to move. I want to maneuver. Point of least resistance. I want to be able to take the shape of any vessel, any situation that comes in my life. Lemon, the seed, embedded with the DNA. The seed already knows the potentiality of the finished product. And with the right environmental conditions, we know what can be given birth here. I want to be like a lemon. And sugar. Too much decays. Not enough. Average. I wanted just the right sum of sugar. So I started looking at everything I do in my life. I tried to. I'm not saying I'm here. I tried to. I even went to my Kabbalah spiritual advisor. And he said very simply, when I was trying to get some self-commiseration, he's like, Jeff, shut up! You crying baby! I'm like, yo, I thought you were going to tell me shoot to the stars, fall on the moon kind of thing. What's going on? I mean, really. He said, no, I'm not. Are you in? Are you in it to win it? I said, are you kidding me? Am I in it to win it? Am I in it to win it? I've been doing this since I was 17 years young. He said, no. Are you in it to win it? Is this thing indelibly tattooed on your soul, in it to win it? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Are you really sure? You hard of hearing? I'm sure. Okay. Stick out your tongue. Go on. Stick it out. Stick it out. I'm going to put an oversized, hissing Madagascar cockroach right about there. And just let it rest. Let it tickle your tongue. The point that I needed to be repulsed by the very things that I was doing, the very habits. To be so repulsed by some of my issues, professionally, commercially, to actually overcome them. He told me that I'm not telling you to quit on your dream to create a beverage company with a higher purpose to give back and help mankind. I'm telling you to quit on those habits that are interfering with your ability to get your dream. And when you clean up your house, you turn that garbage into gift, I assure you, this thing will rise. And so I did. And it started by going back to my team, a small collection of people that have been down to the mat, UFC style, with this business since its infancy. My wife, Amy, others that have done it. And they said, we're in. We can do this. And I efforted as best I can to change my game. I'm good, I'm all right, but obviously there's something wrong. It's not about whether, it's not a landlord that took anything. I never owned the space, landlord, schlandlord. It's not about that. It's about making smart decisions, hard decisions, leaning into those things that we resist and hate. And so we put out a deal to the universe. We said, we are going to disengage from the consequences of our action and just focus on being the cause. We got a deal with Miles McPherson over at the Rock Church. Okay. Sundays are good. 1 out of 7 ain't bad. We went to UCSD, competing for a deal. We focused for 18 months with UCSD. And on December 19th, not long ago, we got a call from UCSD. And they said, despite having 9 other competitors, including the 800-pound gorilla in Starbucks that was competing for this space, we've elected Dlush. I knew then, and know now, the only thing we can control is our choices. They said one other thing, though. You got to come up with $500,000 in 60 days. Okay, I love these footnotes. Seeing that I have 43 seconds left, I'll tell you that we came up with just shy of $500,000 in less than 60 days, with the final contribution landing in our pockets on Friday that just passed. And I got to tell you, friends, when that call came in, and this investor said, you have me at hello, I'm in for your final 50, I thought of one person. I thought of Bobby, and I started whistling. Good luck with your movie in your life. Thank you.